What's up, Michigan fans? Welcome back to the Maize and Brew podcast, where we talk all things Michigan football and basketball. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Today, we're going to keep going on with my coaching staff series, where I break down each coach's coaching career, playing career, and we take a look at what they've done elsewhere so that we can get excited about what they're going to do at Michigan this upcoming season. If you haven't watched them yet, I already did one on Coach Kyle Whittingham and offensive coordinator Jason Beck, and today we're going to talk about defensive coordinator Jay Hill. We'll also take a look at recruiting, but not football, basketball, because Michigan recruiting in the past couple weeks has been on fire, and they've gotten a couple of great recruits, and we'll talk about the few that they've already gotten. We'll also preview the UCLA game that is today, so get ready for that. And of course, stick around to the end, and we will reveal the results to yesterday's question of the day, where I asked what you think the starting tackles will be, offensive tackles will be, for the 2026 season. All that and more on this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Let's get into it. All right, let's get right into it and talk about defensive coordinator Jay Hill. Jay Hill is 51 years old. He was born in Utah, born and raised a Utah boy. He actually was a cornerback in college. He started off playing at Ricks College, a junior college, and there he was an All-American cornerback, and then he transferred to Utah for his final 2 seasons. And of course, his coach there, not the head coach, but defensive coach there, was none other than Kyle Whittingham. While at Utah, Jay Hill, as a senior, led the Mountain West Conference in interceptions. I haven't been able to find his playing stats. I've seen different numbers. He may have had 9 interceptions, but I'm not sure. He may have had a couple of pick sixes, but it's kind of scattered. It's hard to find anything. And I couldn't find anything for Ricks College, but I have seen that he was an All-American. He was the Utah's defensive MVP, and he led the conference Mountain West in interceptions, which is pretty cool. And he was all Mountain West, all conference selection as well. He signed contracts with the Buffalo Bills and New York Giants in the NFL, and then in 2000, before briefly playing in the XFL in 2001. So he was a really solid defensive back, which is really cool to know that he was a great player, a very talented player on defense. That's always comes in helpful when he's working with defensive back and defensive players. He knows what they're going through, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about his coaching career. So he started off as a graduate assistant at Utah in 2001. He did that for 3 seasons. And then he kept just moving up the ranks. He was at Utah from 2001 to 2013. He was a graduate assistant. And then he coached the cornerback coaches and was co-special teams coordinator. Then he became the full-time head special teams coordinator. He worked with tight ends, cornerbacks, running backs. And then in 2014, he took the head coaching gig at Weber State. Or at Weber State? Weber? I always say Weber. Is it Weber? At Weber State. Let's take a look at his record there, because he was there for 8 seasons. So he started in 2014, and they were not very good before he came, and they were not very good in his first year. They went 2-10, 2-6 in the conference. They were in the Big Sky Conference, the Weber State Wildcats. But then he turned things around really quick, and he did pretty well there. In 2015, they went 6-5, 5-3 in the conference, tied for 4th after finishing dead last the year before. In 2016, they went 7-5, 6-2 in the conference, finishing 3rd, and they made it to the playoffs. They made it to Division One first round, and they did lose. But then the next year's when things really took off. In 2017, he went 11-3, 7-1, tied for first place in the Big Sky Conference, and they made it to the quarterfinal round, same as the next year. And also when they went 7-5 and made the playoffs, they finished ranked 25th, but then the rest of the time they were top 5 or 6. In 2017, when they went 11-3 and made the quarterfinal, they were ranked number 5. 2018, they went 10-3, 7-1 again, tied for first. Made it to the quarterfinal and lost. Were ranked 6. The next 2 years, they went 11-4 in 2019, 7-1, tied for first. Made it to the semifinal round, finished number 3. And then in the COVID season, I think they would have had a really special year. They started 5-1, 5-0, all alone in first place in the conference. And then they did a shortened season, and they lost in the first round. But you just wonder if he would have had a full season, how much momentum and growth there could have been. But they finished number 3 ranked. Then in 2021, they went 6-5, 5-3, 5th in the conference. Then in his final season, he got back on track, went 10-3, 6-2, tied for 3rd, made it to the second round of the playoffs, but lost, but finished number 9. So, that first year they had a losing record. He didn't have his guys. He just did what he could, build the foundation. And then they slowly started getting better there a couple of years, and then boom. From 2017 on, they had pretty much every year besides COVID. They had the 10-win season, made the playoffs, and finished in the top 10. I mean, this guy's a good coach. Pretty awesome. His overall final record at Weber State was 68-39, and in the conference was 50-19. So pretty awesome. He left as the program's all-time winningest head coach. He had 8 straight winning seasons, 4 consecutive Big Sky Conference titles, 6 FCS playoff appearances, and was the Big Sky Coach of the Year in 2020. He also helped 16 players earn All-American, including Teron Johnson and Rashid Shaheed. So those names are familiar. Then after that, he left there because he wanted to return to Division I, and he got the job at BYU, hired by Kalani Sitake to be the defensive coordinator and associate head coach. He also helped coach safeties. And he stayed there the 3 seasons before coming to Michigan. When he first got there, the Cougars were ranked 109th in total defense and 99th in scoring defense. But in 2024, they improved to 13th in total defense, 18th in scoring. And then in 2025, they were 35th in total defense and 22nd in scoring. And they had a combined record of 23-4 with a stout defense. Here's some other cool stats from BYU when he was there. There in 2025, this past season, they were listed in the top 25 of 7 defensive categories, number 5 in red zone defense at a 70%. That's huge because that's something that slipped a little bit under Sharon Moore and Wink Martindale. Number 7 in interceptions with 17. Number 10 in defensive touchdowns. I love that. Number 14 in turnovers gained. Number 19 in third down defense. Yes, please. That really suffered this past year. I love seeing that. Number 21 in scoring defense and number 25 in pass efficiency defense, holding QBs to a 116 rating. Another cool thing is we know that he's recruiting is big, and he's a great recruiter. While he was at Utah, in 2009 he was a top 25 recruiter and again a top 10 recruiter in the Pac-12 in 2012. Now, some cool stuff I found. I was trying to find rankings and stats for when he was at Weber State. So let me tell you what I was able to find. He often, year after year, ranked top 10 to 20 in total defense, scoring defense, and rushing defense. They had an attacking, aggressive, and disciplined scheme, which he had at BYU, and he says he's going to bring to Michigan. The team was struggling before he arrived, but within a couple of years, he built a defensive-led team that made multiple playoff appearances. And of course, he did great at BYU, but it's just cool to hear that he was even in the top 10 to 20 at Weber State. So as you can see, Jay Hill has been fantastic everywhere he's gone. Not only has he's shown flexibility and versatility by coaching special teams, defense, some offense as well. He's worked really well. He's gotten the most out of players. He's had players go to the NFL. He's had players earn all conference, break records, just an amazing stuff. And everywhere he's gone, he's seen a turnaround. He turned around BYU's defense. He turned around Weber State. He has showed loyalty. He's been at these places a long time. He was at Utah for a really long time. He was at Weber State for a long time, and then he was at BYU for 3 seasons before coming to coach with Kyle Whittingham, someone who has been a coach, a mentor, a friend, somebody that he really respects, and it's just awesome. Like he said in his interview, it was not a hard decision. He said, I'm in, coach, because one, it's Kyle Whittingham, and also it's Michigan, and he thinks they can win championships, national championships here, and consistent Big Ten championships, and that's what I love to hear. I cannot wait to see his defense. Let me know in the comments if you're as excited as I am for Jay Hill's defense. He has done great everywhere, and I have no doubt he's going to do great here as well. Now we're going to talk some Michigan basketball. We're going to break down and look at the keys to victory for Michigan against UCLA. But first, we got to talk some recruiting, and not in football, in basketball. I will update you on some football recruiting in the coming days. But for today, I want to talk about Michigan basketball recruiting. They have been on fire. They got 2 awesome recruits to sign in the last couple weeks. I'm going to talk all about them. First, most recently, you probably heard about, and that was out of Florida, who was a 5-star recruit for the 2027 recruiting class, but he reclassified so he can join Michigan next year for 2026. He'll be a youngin', and as of right now, he's a 4-star for 2026, but he was talented enough to be a 5-star for 2027, which is awesome. So he's coming in. He is 6'8", 195, small forward, really good player, really fun to watch. Really excited that Michigan snagged him. Quinn Costello out of Boston, Massachusetts, a 4-star. He is 6'10", 195, power forward. That was a great get. They also have Joseph Hartman from Florida, a shooting guard, 6'6", 193, another 4-star. And they have Malachi Brown out of Tennessee, a 6'5", 185 small forward. He's a 3-star. And then they have from Spain, Marcus Moyer, who is a 7'3", 230-pound center. He doesn't have a rating yet. They probably have to figure all that out still because he's from Spain. But pretty fun recruiting class that Dusty May is putting together so far. I can't wait to see what else they add. Dusty May kills it in the transfer portal. And even though our Sparty fan friends like to say we don't recruit, he's recruiting pretty dang good. So I'm looking forward to seeing them in the Maize and Brew very soon. But for now, we got to talk about a game today because Michigan plays UCLA today. UCLA comes to the Chrysler Center to Ann Arbor to take on Michigan at 12:45 p.m. today. And Michigan has, as usual, some advantages that if they can take advantage of and work on things that they do to put themselves in bad position, this should be a game that they can run away with and earn a really good win for their resume. So let's take a look at what Michigan needs to do to win this game. One, Michigan has, as usual, the superior advantage on the inside with Moritz Johnson, Ade Mara, and Yaxel Lindenborg. UCLA is not that good on the inside. They are not that strong of defenders. They're not that strong at points in the paint, and they're not a good rebounding team. Well, they're not a great rebounding team as opposed to Michigan. So if those 3 can play their game, we're already in great shape. The other thing is that UCLA has some good shooters, but generally when they have open shots, when they have a lot of contested shots, good defenses played against them, they can struggle. So if Michigan plays really good defense and has hands and face, rotates, plays well together, pays attention, plays the good, awesome defense they're capable of, and they take that inside game, they are in really, really good shape. And finally, if they don't turn the ball over, if they don't give UCLA easy points, extra possessions, even if they hit some shots, as long as Michigan's making them work for them, it's not going to last and Michigan will prevail. But if Michigan gives them easy open shots and they get their confidence going and they give them extra possessions by turning the ball over and losing their own possessions, and if the big guys have an off night and UCLA is able to get some traction on the inside and rebound well, then Michigan could be in for another barn burner. But if Michigan does those things, rebound, win the inside game, if Michigan does those 3 things, wins the big man game, wins points in the paints, out rebounds UCLA, and They play really good defense, especially on the perimeter, and they don't turn the ball over, which seems like simple things, but these are things that can cause issues for Michigan in this game if they don't do them. I think they will. I think they learned another lesson against Northwestern. I think they're going to come out. They're going to play whistle to whistle. They're going to play hard, and they're going to want to get kind of that taste out of their mouth from most of that game, and show what they can do against a very good team. UCLA is 17-7, right below that upper echelon, trying to move their way up, and they would love nothing more than to knock off Michigan. So Michigan has to be ready and play a full game, and I think they will. And I think that this should be an easy win. I'm hoping we'll get a nice 15 to 20 point win. Should be double digits if Michigan does what they're supposed to do. Could be even more, but we shall see. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think is important for this game, and let me know what your score prediction is. And finally, we're going to talk about the question of the day results from yesterday, where I asked who will be the starting offensive tackles for Michigan in 2026. Is it going to be Blake Frazier and Andrew Sprague? Is it going to be Blake Frazier and Andrew Babaloa? Or is it going to be Andrew Babaloa and Andrew Sprague? Or some other combination that I didn't mention? Well, the results are in, and here they are. A-boom! The winning one by a pretty decent margin was Blake Frazier and Andrew Babaloa. I think to start the year, I want to see Andrew Babaloa, and I think he will rotate in. He'll play a lot. But I think to start, it's probably going to be Blake Frazier and Andrew Sprague. Andrew Babaloa is coming off that injury. We don't really know how healthy he is yet. We'll learn a lot once spring practice starts and the spring game happens. We'll see how much he plays or if he plays. So that's going to tell us a lot. Also, Andrew Sprague came back and he's determined to keep that right tackle position, which he held down all year last year as a freshman. And I think he did pretty well. So I think Frazier and him will probably start the year, but Babaloa is so talented. He's going to rotate in there, and he may take one of their spots by the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see. But what a great problem to have three really good tackles. Maybe one of them slides in and plays guard, because we'll do a position group breakdown soon, but the guards aren't 100% cemented either. So there's definitely room for all these guys to get a lot of playing time. But we have an amazing offensive line coach in Jim Harding that I'm really excited about to see what he does with these guys. This offensive line is going to be fantastic, and I just cannot wait to see how it all comes together. So thank you, everybody, for voting. And don't forget, I ask a question of the day every day. So if you haven't voted on today's question of the day after this video, head on over to the community tab and vote on today's question of the day. That's going to do it for this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys so much. It means the world to me that you take the time to watch the video, comment, like, subscribe, all the things. You mean the world to me, and I'm excited to continue on this journey with all of you towards next season. Cannot wait. And I cannot wait to watch Michigan beat UCLA in just a little bit. So everybody have a fantastic day. Watch the channel for later. I'll do a post-game chat after the UCLA game, hopefully celebrating a victory. But I will see you then, and until I do, as always, go blue.